Basketball season is heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money action while you're watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed when you use the promo code CLNS. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, and is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. Prize Picks is truly the best way to win real money with all the various opportunities to play and collect your winnings. Due to the enormous selection of players and stats types available, we can mix and match our playing strategies based on personal preferences. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. And for those who love a quick win, Prize Picks is the way to go. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Remember, with Prize Picks, it's as simple as picking more or picking less. Again, promo code is CLNS to get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Right here in Heavy in the Paint, Bottom Line Sports Show, Gerald Brown. Big fella Rick Mahorn is off on assignment right now, but joining me right now to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and the impact of Luka Doncic after facing his old team. One of the best in the business, does an outstanding job covering the Lakers for SoCal News Group, Mr. Khobi Price. Khobi, this Mavericks game, and obviously it's just the first of two that the Lakers were going to have to face them. Talk about just that impact, how it was last night for Luka, and was that something that all those that weren't playing could kind of get a sense of what the impact and what the emotions that were around this game in the very beginning?
Absolutely. First off, appreciate you having me on. But absolutely, I mean, even if you weren't inside the arena, you could feel the emotional weight, the emotional impact of the game. I mean, for context, I went to the Mavericks shoot around in the morning. Maybe I got to the arena around 10 a.m. and then left the arena maybe around 11:30. And around the time even around like as you pushed closer to noon for 7 o'clock start, like it felt like I could start seeing some fans starting to congregate near the arena. You know, we're talking like 6-7 hours before the game starts, maybe like 5.5 hours before the gates even, or the doors to the arena even open. Then obviously you get the Jordan brand ad that they with the sports car and changing the license plate from Texas to California with the song All My Exes Live in Texas. Like you could, then the sports cars at the arena, fans are gathering around. Like you could kind of feel as the day went on, just the attention and eyeballs surround the team, but especially for Luka. And everyone could feel it. I mean, even there were players on the Lakers who were eager, teammates of Luka's, eager to see just what kind of performance he would have, what kind of energy he would bring, but also recognizing they were going to bring the similar energy for him. So it was something that if you were in the building, you definitely felt it. But even if you weren't inside the building, if you were outside the arena or even watching from home, just tuned in, you could feel that just by the in-arena atmosphere, but also the atmosphere around the entire environment. So it felt like, for me, I was talking with someone about this, and a lot of people agree, it felt like a playoff game, but not just a playoff game, like a later round playoff game, but just the atmosphere and the energy that was present pretty much throughout the entire afternoon, evening, late evening.
Yeah. Khobi, when you look at, obviously it's only been a handful of games and a sample size of work, but really just talk about really the impact of Luka and how it might have re-energized this team, this fan base. once this trade was made, and now seeing how things are evolving and developing. Talk about just really the impact of Luka having on his team and just the energy that it's been permeated not only through the team, but the fan base itself.
I mean, the fan base is only been what I think yesterday was his fifth or sixth game. I think it was his fifth game in a Lakers jersey. And every single game that he plays, it feels like a big event just to watch Luka Doncic in a Lakers jersey. There's an incredible amount of energy coming from this fan base to watch a player that, I mean, over the years, Lakers fans would joke, he's the next superstar. He's the next Lakers superstar. Just like they say for every young superstar in the league, with the photoshops on social media, trying to dream up these scenarios. But this dream actually came true. So there's this there's like a mixture of excitement and still to this, almost 3 weeks after the trade, 5 games into it, of is this really happening? Like, is this really Luka on the Lakers? And obviously it is reality. So he's brought just his presence has brought an incredible excitement to the fan base, to the organization, to teammates, just to play with a player like him. There's a reason players like him don't get traded that often at his age, because when that kind of player, that kind of star, that's a player you build around. And the Lakers have integrated, a kind of player you build around approaching his prime, or what we figure is going to be his prime, to a team that already had LeBron James on it. And then Austin Reeves, was getting these incredible, open looks, being, stepping up his efficiency even more. So the energy has just spiked. The attention has spiked. Just all of it has risen to levels that, it's been a while. Obviously the Lakers are always, on people's minds, always grabbing attention. But to have this mixture of the LeBron attention, the Luka attention, the Lakers attention, and just the energy around that, it's brought the energy to just a different level, that different stratosphere.
Yeah, Khobi, what has been what was the talk and what did you hear from the players leading up to this game? Obviously, it was going to be all about Luka Doncic, but talk about what you heard from the players and sort of their feedback leading up to this game, and then afterwards, obviously, once it was finally over.
Yeah, I think they were leading up to the game, at least from Lakers, teammates of Luka's, Lakers players. They were eager. I think I used that word earlier, just eager to see, how Luka would, perform, how he would fare. Just they were eager just to be in, to play alongside him in that sort of situation, playing against not just your former team, but the team that Luka built his NBA career with, making 5 straight All-Star teams, 5 straight All-NBA teams, leading that team to the Western Conference Finals and the Finals last season, and really becoming a superstar in Dallas. And then obviously the trade, that the way it happened, the shock of it, how stunning it was. There was an eagerness to see what kind of attitude, what kind of energy would Luka bring. So that was like the energy from, at least from his teammates going into last night. And then even after the game, there was an acknowledgement of, this was an emotional, it was emotionally charged day, an emotionally charged. It wasn't not just a game; it was an event.
Right.
It was one of those, the games happen every day. NBA games happen pretty much every day from October through April. Regular season games, NBA regular season games happen all the time. But this felt more like an NBA event, with just how much attention, how much emotional. Not baggage, but how much emotional investment there was in this game. So there was acknowledgement of, I think even JJ said it early in the game, Luka was amped. He was trying to, he had that energy, but then throughout the game, you could see him settle down emotionally, and start playing his game. And even though he didn't shoot the ball the best, which isn't too surprising, just because he did miss 6.5 weeks with that strained left calf, he's still trying to find his rhythm personally, but also within the flow of the context of the group. The playmaking that he put on display was phenomenal. It was there were some passes that, there's obviously the one that I think has been on the highlights all for the past almost 24 hours, when he drove into the paint
and then threw it behind. Yeah,
threw it back. And a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, he showed me a different camera angle from up top, from the second spectrum camera from above the rim, and we noticed that Luka didn't even look at Austin Reeves when he made that pass. He just drove and he just knew he had to be back there and just flicked it. I mean, that was just one of many ridiculous passes that he made. It was just the extraordinary playmaking display, and you could see as the game went on, he just became a little bit more settled and wasn't pressing as much to really, trying to get the, fire back. And to the Mavericks' credit, the way they defended Luka is very much, you're not beating us with a 50 bomb today or a 40 bomb today. Like, this is going to be, we're going to get the ball out your hands today with the trapping and the doubles. And I mean, look, if there's going to be a team that knows how to defend Luka, it should be the team that had him for 6.5 seasons, a coach that's coached him for a few seasons in Jason Kidd, and players who were teammates with him very recently. So they should know just as well as anyone how to defend him. But it was after the game, there was acknowledgement of, at least from Luka, it was an emotional day. He was glad to get it behind him. He said he even said himself that, paraphrasing, sometimes he didn't even know he was doing out there, which is funny to say from a guy who had, I think, 19, 15, and 12, three steals or 3 blocks or 3 steals and 2 blocks. He didn't know what he was doing out there, still got that. But the emotions were definitely felt, were definitely present. And I think Luka and especially was just glad to get the day behind him. Obviously, there's another day, I think April 9th in Dallas. That would be probably a whole different atmosphere. It may feel more like a Lakers home game than a Dallas one. But I think this was a good step for him to take just so he can get that emotional weight off of him, at least for the time being.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about that game in Dallas, because the unique thing about that, it's funny because if you compare it, like, here in the tri-state area of New York City and New Jersey, and you think about Yankees fans and Juan Soto, when he comes to the Bronx in May, was just talking about this today. He comes May 18th or 16th or so like that. Those fans are going to be ready to boo him. I mean, some people might throw stuff, but when you talk about with Luka, when he returns to Dallas, I think that's more or less his opportunity to say thank you to the fans, a unique way, because I don't really feel that they will boo him. Obviously, their frustration lies at Nico Harrison. But when you look at this, that dynamic, it's not, I think more than anything, it's more than anything Luka's way to sort of say thank you to the fan base, as opposed to the fan base reaching out and retaliate and being very, very volatile and very, very negative to him. So it will be an emotional one, but it'll be a little bit different perhaps in this juncture with this whole situation transpiring. Khobi, I want to talk about obviously the stretch of the games that's coming up. When you look at the Lakers, you're talking about perhaps maybe a 4 to 5 game stretch with the Timberwolves, 2 games against the Clippers. Then you have the Pelicans in there, and then they face the Knicks before they face off against their arch rival in the Boston Celtics and stuff. When you look at the Lakers, is there a sense of belief from the players, coaches, that this team has gone from a team that was like, hey, if we can get in the play-in tournament, we can do some damage, to now they're right in that mix of perhaps a team that could come out the West based upon matchups?
Yeah, I mean, I think internally, JJ's spoken about this. I think he first started speaking about this a couple of months ago, that he doesn't just want to be part of a good team. He wants to be part of a great team. And he sees, a couple of months ago, he mentioned how he saw there is a great team within this group. And, over the past month and change, they've shown the potential of being a great team. I think they have the best record since January 15th, 15-4. Defensively, they've been on a different level. And offensively, obviously, when you add Luka to the group, like, there's going to be offensive production, even if he's personally going through his flows, trying to get his rhythm, his personal rhythm after being sidelined for 6.5 weeks. Like, the offense, you feel like will figure itself out at some point when you have a 3-headed monster of Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. Like, you just feel like it's going to get figured out. So there's a feeling that, shaking up the group the way that they did before the trade deadline is going to take some more time to figure it out. And at this point, I think tomorrow when they play The Timberwolves will be game 57, so they'll have, if my math serves me correct, 25 more games after tomorrow to figure it out or to, find that cohesion. But this feels like a team where their ceiling is higher. I don't know if I would put them in a playoff series over the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Denver Nuggets, who obviously they beat in a very impressive fashion last weekend. But there definitely is a feeling of this is a team that can be reckoned with. This is a team that probably increased their playoff chances. I think I saw recently that they have the fourth best odds for the NBA championship. So there's obviously belief, external belief. The internal belief is there. So really what's going to separate them or what's going to help, I guess, increase their championship odds or ability to contend is, are they able to hit just another gear, a different level over these next 20, 25 games before the playoffs? And how much cohesion can they build? How much chemistry can they build in such a short period of time? Because it's hard. I mean, it's hard when you're shaking up a group as much as they have. I mean, they've traded, if you look at their roster, beginning of the season, I mean, we're talking about a very significant changes in terms of who was on the day one rotation versus who's in the rotation now, between trading away D'Angelo Russell for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, or D'Angelo Russell and Maxwell Lewis. Maxwell wasn't in the rotation, but you're just adding these, and then obviously the big trade for Luka. Like you've cycled through significant players between D'Angelo Russell, Max Christie, and Anthony Davis, and replacing them with Luka and Dorian Finney-Smith, and even getting Jared Vanderbilt back into the fold back in late January. He's played for about a month. Jackson Hayes becoming the starting center and having a bigger role, playing more small ball. What does that look like? Adding Alex Len, cycling through two-way players. So there have been changes. How can this group really form its identity or build upon its identity is going to be the difference maker between, being in the playoffs, maybe being out early versus can they make some noise and, make a Western Conference Finals push or even make a Finals push?
Yeah. Khobi, before I let you get on out of here, it's really interesting. And it's just, I guess, if anything, in the Laker world, this is all that you could ask for, where at the beginning of the season, it was all about the Lakers and obviously Bronny James being a part of his team and how well he could fit in and some of his struggles early on, to now that is obviously pushed to the side, not even a real story. Talk about obviously the team just in that sense, being able to deal with, I guess, Bronny James like a rookie and not him be such a pivotal part of conversation that was early on. How much of that has really helped, do you think, if anything, with LeBron perhaps, and not really having to deal with just obviously the expectations placed on his son being on the team?
I think it's a healthy place to be. I mean, obviously it's history. Anytime they step on the floor is history, just because we've never seen it before. A father and son being in the NBA together, playing on the same team, sharing the floor. Went up until it happened. It never happened before. So it was always a story, especially early. And even to an extent when Bronny is with the Lakers, with the NBA team, you still hear the, "We want Bronny," especially in opposing arenas, because sometimes that may be their only opportunity to see him play in their arena, in their city. So there's still an excitement when Bronny's in the building, when he's able to play, or when he does play for the Lakers. But I think it's healthier. And I think it's also a credit to the Lakers and the kind of season they're having, where Bronny is like he's like Bronny and LeBron or Bronny on the floor is not a significant storyline for their season. They're 34-21, I want to say. 34-21. Like they've played well enough. 35. They're right, because they won yesterday. 35-21. They've played so well that's not something that, I mean, this is the first time this has been brought up to me in several weeks. Yeah. Where someone asked about, like, that's a credit to, this is a testament to the season they're having. It's also a testament to Bronny, because if he were playing poorly in the G League when he gets those minutes, people have something to say. But when he plays well like he has been, it's crickets, which is an issue within his own right. But that's a testament to how he's handled. Yes, he had his early struggles. However, he also has handled himself very well. So that also is a great part of it as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because it was so much of a dynamic of just really going into the season. It was JJ Redick being a rookie head coach, getting this opportunity, Then you have the whole Bronny James situation and having to deal with that. That was a big, big storyline. And obviously, winning cures all ills, as they would say. Listen, Khobi, really, really appreciate the time, man, and really, really appreciate tremendous insight when we had you on Sirius XM NBA Radio's The Bottom Line Sports Show. Listen, enjoy this phenomenal ride by the Lakers. Do us a favor, come back on The Bottom Line Sports Show, as well as come back on here, Heavy in the Paint, as it looks like it's going to be a very, very interesting second half of the season. And as Rick says, what, a third of the season or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, about a third of the season left. Yep.
A third of the season left. But listen, man, definitely appreciate you, man. Outstanding work. Keep striving, keep doing it, and definitely come back on the show. We'd love to have you back on.
Oh, no, I appreciate having me on. I really do.
Always a pleasure, man. He is Khobi Price, one of the best in the business, covering the Lakers. Joining me right here, Heavy in the Paint. Peace.